There is a question that economists have debated for over a century. Why do poor people stay poor? The obvious answer is, they do not have enough money. But that answer is wrong. In 2013, the United States government gave a group of low-income families direct cash payments. No conditions, no rules, just money. Within 2 years, most of them were poor again. And this was not an isolated case. Studies from Kenya, from Mexico, from Brazil. The same result every single time. Give poor people money and within a few years, the poverty comes back. So the question is not why poor people do not have money. The question is, why does money keep leaving them? And the answer has nothing to do with laziness, nothing to do with intelligence, nothing to do with opportunity. The answer is inside the human brain. And once you understand it, you will never see poverty the same way again. In 2013, a team of researchers from Harvard and Princeton published a study that changed everything we thought we knew about poverty. They gave poor people a series of cognitive tests, standard IQ-style questions, problem-solving, pattern recognition, logic puzzles. Then, they did something unusual. Before the second round of tests, they reminded the participants about their financial problems, their unpaid bills, their debts, their rent, and the scores dropped dramatically. The equivalent of 13 IQ points. 13 IQ points. That is the difference between a normal functioning adult and someone classified as having a borderline cognitive impairment, just from thinking about money problems. The researchers called this the bandwidth tax. Here is what that means. Your brain has a limited amount of mental bandwidth. Think of it like a computer. You can only run so many programs at once. When you are poor, your brain is constantly running a background program. How am I going to pay rent? Do I have enough for groceries? What happens if my car breaks down? This program never turns off. It runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it consumes enormous amounts of mental bandwidth. Bandwidth that wealthy people simply do not spend. A wealthy person walks into a store. They see something they want, they buy it or they do not. End of mental transaction. A poor person walks into the same store. Their brain immediately begins calculating. If I buy this, can I still pay the electric bill? What will I have to sacrifice? What if something unexpected comes up next week? The mental energy spent on that single purchase is exhausting, and this happens every single day, every single decision. Now, here is where it gets even more disturbing. In 2019, neuroscientists at the University of Michigan conducted brain scans on people at different income levels. What they found was shocking. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, impulse control, and rational decision-making, was measurably less active in people experiencing financial stress. Not because poor people have worse brains, but because chronic stress physically changes how your brain operates. When you are in survival mode, your brain prioritizes short-term thinking. Get through today. Get through this week. The long-term future becomes invisible. Psychologists call this tunneling. When your brain is overwhelmed by an immediate crisis, it creates a tunnel. Inside the tunnel, you can only see what is directly in front of you. Everything outside the tunnel disappears. The investment you should be making, the skill you should be learning, the opportunity just around the corner. All of it invisible. Because your brain is too busy surviving today to plan for tomorrow. And this creates what scientists call the poverty trap. Here is how it works. Being poor causes stress. Stress causes tunneling. Tunneling causes poor decisions. Poor decisions keep you poor, which causes more stress, which causes more tunneling. Round and round, a perfect psychological loop with no obvious exit. But it goes even deeper than that. In 1998, psychologist Roy Baumeister discovered something called ego depletion, the idea that willpower is a finite resource, like a muscle. The more decisions you make throughout the day, the weaker your willpower becomes. This is why wealthy people, and I want you to pay attention to this, obsessively reduce the number of decisions they make. Barack Obama wore the same style of suit every day. Mark Zuckerberg wears the same gray t-shirt. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck. This was not laziness. This was strategy. They understood that every trivial decision you make costs mental energy. Energy that could be used for something that actually matters. Now think about what it means to be poor. Every single day is filled with exhausting micro decisions. Can I afford lunch today, or should I wait until dinner? Should I take the bus or walk to save $2? Is this generic brand actually cheaper per ounce? Hundreds of tiny financial decisions every single day. Each one draining willpower, each one consuming bandwidth. By the time a poor person gets home at night, their decision-making capacity is completely depleted. And that is when the bad decisions happen. The fast food instead of cooking. The impulse purchase. The missed opportunity to study or plan or invest. Not because they are weak, but because their brain has nothing left. Now here is the part that most people never talk about. The psychology of poverty is not just about money, it is about identity. In 2010, psychologists conducted an experiment. They told one group of participants they were poor, and another group they were wealthy. Then they gave both groups financial decisions to make. The group told they were poor immediately began making worse financial decisions, even though their actual financial situation had not changed at all. Just the label, just the identity, was enough to change their behavior. This is called the scarcity mindset, and it is the most dangerous thing about poverty. Because once your brain accepts the identity of being poor, it begins to make decisions that confirm that identity. You avoid investments because poor people cannot afford to invest. You avoid negotiating your salary because poor people do not do that. You avoid thinking about the future because poor people do not have futures worth planning. The scarcity mindset does not just respond to poverty, it creates it. So how do you escape? The researchers who discovered the bandwidth tax did not just find the problem, they found something else. When financial stress was temporarily reduced, even just by reassurance that a bill could be delayed, cognitive performance immediately improved. 13 IQ points come back. Just like that, the brain is not permanently damaged by poverty. It is temporarily hijacked by it. And there are specific things that break the cycle. Number 1. Reduce decisions. Automate every financial decision you possibly can. Automatic savings, automatic bill payments, automatic investments. Every decision you remove from your daily mental load frees up bandwidth for something more important. Number 2. Address the tunnel. When you are in tunneling mode, you cannot see opportunities outside the tunnel. So you have to deliberately force your brain to zoom out. Set aside 30 minutes every week. Not to solve problems, just to think about the future. Where do you want to be in 5 years? What would you need to do differently? Your brain cannot plan for a future it never thinks about. Number 3. Change the identity first. Before the money changes, before the situation changes, the behavior has to change, and behavior follows identity. Stop saying I am broke. Start saying I am building wealth. It sounds simple. It sounds like self-help nonsense. But the neuroscience is clear. The stories you tell yourself about who you are directly shape the decisions your brain makes every single day. The poverty trap is real. The bandwidth tax is real. The scarcity mindset is real. But here is what is also real. Every single one of these mechanisms can be understood, and what can be understood can be overcome. The mice in Universe 25 had no choice. They could not understand their cage. They could not choose a different path. But you are not a mouse. You are watching this video, which means your brain still has bandwidth. Use it. If this changed how you think about money and the mind, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to PsychoWealth, because understanding the psychology behind wealth is the first step to building it.